Hello, Kayla Aldridge back again to talk about helping students realize their norms. So there's 10 expectations or norms that we have for students, and we want them to be able to stay engaged with their learning. So these are things that we can do as educators to keep them engaged. For relationships, we want to make sure that the students have relationships with their peers and also with adults in the building. So anything that we can do to get to know those kids, what their interests are, what their talents are, so that we can get them into meaningful relationships with people around them is important to keep them engaged in school. Next, we have relevance. So, do people around know what the relevance of my learning is for? Do I know that my contributions are headed for the community and for the bigger world, or do we just think that it's only relevant in the classroom? We need to make sure that what we're teaching them is something that they can move forward with and be able to do outside of the classroom. For time, we want to make sure that we give students time. We want to make sure that they have time to be able to do not only broad learning, but also deep learning. We want to give them a chance to thoroughly understand a topic before we move on to the next one. Our timing of how we teach lessons. So are we adapting to different learning styles and the different student interests that we have within the classroom, or are we always teaching to the same learner every time? We can let our kids take a break and play. So part of that doesn't have to just mean not doing any work at all, but are we allowing them to actually explore the topics that we're giving them, allowing them to tinker with science and experimenting and making guesses and then determining whether or not that's the right way to do things or if they need to go back and alter what they're doing in order to get the response that they're wanting. We also need to let them practice. The skills that we give the students in the classroom need to not only be things that we're letting them just do a worksheet on, but we need to make sure that they're actually having sustained practice of those skills. Are we giving them opportunities throughout the year, not just during that 45-minute class time, but throughout the year to practice those skills that they're learning? Then we need to give them some options, give them choices. Let them be able to show us how that they learn in different ways. That's their demonstration of learning. We also want them to be able to learn in different ways. So if you have a project that you want to have them work on, give them options on what they can give you back for their work product so that you can let that be a little bit more in their ballpark and they get to adapt it to what they need for their learning style. Choice boards are always a great option for this. Making sure that we're adding authenticity to their learning. So making sure, are we bringing in the families and experts on subjects and possibly employers so that they understand that what they're doing in the classroom relates to that community again. We want to make sure that these kids aren't just getting a test score and that they're not just getting a grade, that they actually are understanding those connections within our community. We need to make sure that we're giving them challenges, make sure that not only are our expectations high and meaningful, but that we have those ability to let them know that we expect them to be excellent. We expect them to do well. We don't just expect students to pass a subject. We want them to actually learn enough about it that they can do well and excel at something. And the last one would be making sure that they're understanding the application of the different things, whether or not how to use that in the real world. So if you're talking about math, what does that look like? Making sure that your story problems are things that are invigorating to them, not just bus A and bus B and they're meeting in the middle. That's not something that kids think about, but we can make those into real world situations that they're in. Maybe they're a basketball player, and so we want to bring that math in with basketball or with football to get them to understand how we're going to actually use that out in the real world. When we make those meaningful connections with kids, I think that they are better able to understand why they're learning things, and so then they're more apt to learn those things. So again, this was just a brief presentation about helping students realize their norms and what it is that we expect them to be doing in the classroom and how we can actually help them as educators to get better and to work up to their potential in the classroom. Thanks. Have a great day.